Let him know.
So we're making some camera adjustments right now. So just be patient with us, okay?
Sure. Appreciate you.
All right, is that the right one?
Yeah. I need you to sit down so I can adjust.
All right.
And just for the record, I still just see the I'm back on the screen with the audit, not the split screen.
Yeah, she's still building. We had a camera problem. We had one of the cameras lock up, so we switching to another camera. Hopefully
Okay,
this
cool.
will
All right, this one's fine.
looking better. Yeah, it's a whole lot better, this one. So hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pertis with the audit. If you could give me a little volume. Oh man, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. We are testing out something new today. We have a guest today, Mr. Pasha Paro, the critical solutions expert. He reached out to us here at We Believe. I appreciate, for one, the reaching out to us. He wanted to see if we could kind of collaborate on some of the topics that we have very similar in nature. And I'm just pleased to be invited somewhere and being able to share the platform with everyone around the world. So, you know me, I don't like to take a whole lot of time to bring nobody in. So, Mr. Pasha, how you doing today, man?
Pertis, it's always the perfect day. I appreciate the opportunity to collab with YNet 7 and have this conversation for the community. I think we need an audit.
Well, you know, man, that is why I'm here. So we're going to let you kind of take over today since I was invited, although we're doing it here on We Believe platform. I was still invited, so I'm kind of your guest today. So I'm going to pretend we're not here. Let you take the lead.
Hey, okay, let's do this for added value. So during periods of national crisis, the government always the United States government always seems to like try to muzzle the public. So we got this thing coming out. Some people may be aware. Let me know what your thoughts are. High level overview. The social credit score, which was kind of always present in the background, now kind of being rolled out, implemented full scale in the United States / America, depending on what jurisdiction we claim, right?
Okay.
What's your high level overview on that situation on the horizon?
Now, first off, I'm going to be honest with you and going to have to look that up. I've been really busy, although I've heard about the social credit score. I hadn't really taken the time to find out what it is. So now, if we're talking about the regular credit score, then I'm, pretty on that one. But here we got social credit score inspired by FICA, a numeral social credit score calculated by individual behavior, and activities was given to citizens in certain pilot programs developed by financial firms and localized initiatives. Well, just reading that right there tells me that's wrong. When we're going to base something on behavior and activities, let's just be honest. Most of the time we're in a certain area, we're not introduced to a lot of different things. There's not a lot of variety as far as crossing over into different experiences. We kind of are limited by what we see in schools and our families' experience. So our behavior, I'm glad that word is in there, is something that we were discussing on the Journey into Mental Health the other day. And I had a strange, revelation that came to me after that conversation. Not sure your exact age, but we seem to be kind of close. And we were talking about the 80s and 90s, man, and the effect of the crack era that took place on our generation. You know, Generation X likes to talk about our independence and how we were left alone at home and we didn't burn the house down. But we never addressed why that was. You know,
Okay.
a lot of us parents were struggling at the time with drug addiction, whether it be friends, family. I remember many rescue operations as a young man going to someone else's house. So the social credit score, if it's going to be based on behavior and activities given, then no, I'm definitely totally against that. So we need to say something about that, man.
Yeah, this I think it's a very dangerous thing that the community needs to really start to generate awareness for before it's too late. And
Yeah.
podcasts like yours and studios like yours are going to be critical in the survival of what we know as freedom of speech. So we got to rally the community to support organizations like yours so that we can maintain the ability to communicate and educate our communities without being censored and stuff. There's nothing new under the sun. And you're talking about the 80s, like you just mentioned, the 90s crack era and addictions. One of the biggest addictions is acceptance, period. It's one of the strongest drugs in the world. And then you got currency following right after that, right?
Now,
So
what did
acceptance
you
and
say again?
currency.
I'm sorry, I had to turn the volume down. But you said the most expensive drug again is what?
One of the biggest drugs is acceptance.
Man, wow, you hit that one.
So they're going to roll out the social credit score system, and everybody's going to face one of the biggest addictions they ever had in life. They may not even know it, trying to be accepted into a system that's strangling, right?
Man,
So
wow. I'm just still shocked at what you just said because I think that we're gonna address that, man, that acceptance part, because the things we have been accepting recently from whether it is you know, so you get that one now. So you
okay,
still there?
some interference in the line, the conversation getting good. You know, they're going to, yeah, I'm here. The interference in the line, the conversation getting good. You know, they wanted to break that up a little bit. So could you repeat that for me?
Yeah, they sure did try to stop that, so we're gonna repeat it because they don't know that, like you were just saying, we can do this all day. So, yeah, I was talking about the using those tools to create a credit score. It's really something we have to address because acceptance is one of those things that we've become accustomed to, and for me, it's almost like we're watching ourselves give away everything that the United States is supposed to stand for: freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom to cuss out those people in charge who are doing wrong. You know, protesting. They can't even mass a peaceful protest without the government sending in the police and the military. So once again, that's a first. If we're gonna break the First Amendment, then what you're talking about with a social credit score, if we're not saying nothing about them breaking the First Amendment, oh yeah, they finna push this right over our heads, man, like a truck running over an ant.
You made a great point there because first thing we got to address is it the United States that we part of, or are we a part of America? And or do we know the difference, right? Because
Yeah.
then it changes what we think we're accepting because jurisdiction or status determines jurisdiction, right?
You right.
So that's a whole nother conversation we can get into.
It really is.
But stay on top of here. we can know that there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Right.
So often to know American history, we got to look at world history, right? So to know what's going on today, we got to go back in time. So we brought up, let's go back to what they call the Sedition Era Acts, Sedition. in the United
What you
States.
defining here, man?
1798.
Okay,
Man,
go ahead. I'm
it
gonna
was
let you
when-
read it to me. Go ahead.
All right, the Alien and Sedition Acts were a series of 4 laws passed by U.S. Congress 1798 and signed into law by President at the time, John Adams, right? In particular, it criminalized false statements that were critical of the government, leading to prosecution of several newspaper editors and politicians. So it was a significant encroachment on freedom of speech during the early years of what they call the United States. So
Right.
basically, this was like the earliest version of the social credit score. And it
Now,
repeat.
no, I'm saying, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. It repeats in different time frames from there forward to now.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, I think history repeats itself, and I'm going to tell you something what I think about that. 1955, 1953. There's Eisenhower is discussing America burning books. Now, that's not something that we were learning in history classes as I was coming up in my school. I don't remember them telling us about America burning books. And I think that was really because critical thinking would take place. Discernment would start to begin at young people's, I don't know if you remember high school and first few years of college, we had a gang of questions about life for the teachers. And something like burning books in 1950, 1953 would have really been an attention getter for us. So I think that they didn't tell us about that. And here's why I think that. If you're an evil genius, and I personally have only seen what they call pictures of what is supposed to be scanned documents from the 1700s. I've only seen pictures of supposed to be scanned documents from the 1800s, but I also know they were burning books and documents in 1950s. So my way of thinking says, if you're an evil genius, none of your history is true, and you need to question everything you read from these people in charge, because it is a mind game that they're playing, which gets us to that point where we're accepting wrong instead of doing what we know to be the right thing to do. So when I look at the history and they say something happened in 1775, the first thing I do is, how mentally would that affect the people they're talking to? So if I'm telling you you're a slave, if I'm telling you change the laws against your people, if I'm telling you you didn't even fight back when we did this, we took everything from you and you didn't do nothing, and then I tell you how we took your women and we raped them and you watched us do it, and we would do these things to you. I say, knowing that you burning books in 1953, you ain't burnt no truth. Well, you probably burnt the truth, let me say that, and replaced it with your mind imprisoning doctrine, which around the same time public schools were being integrated or unsegregated. So now we're running to be indoctrinated into this new history and new mental prison. So what I'm seeing now is not so much them repeating history. I'm thinking it's more like they're directing history or creating it by enslaving us mentally with those stories from the past that tell you your people didn't even fight back. Your women was taken, your kids was taken, and we did what we wanted to, and then we still holding y'all down. It's almost like you mentally imprisoning us now. So when you mentioned acceptance being the biggest disease, I guess I don't think you said it a disease, but the crippling factor.
Addiction.
You know, it was programmed into us through our history to not fight back. You know, even
Great point.
Let's just look at Jesus, for instance. They're kind of telling you this is what happens when you try to fight back. So
You're right. And
You know.
I like the fact that you said they're guiding what will become history ultimately. And that's these little nudges. That's why they got to send the reminders every time there's this crisis on the horizon. They want to nudge us back into the lane they want us in, right, as a population.
Right.
And, you know, when you say they're holding everybody down or population, they got it so great now that they just got this thing per the United States Code called political subdivisions, got you checking boxes on all these documents saying that you think that you're this, and you don't understand that makes you property of certain things that you may not know about, right? So
Right.
let's go into, when we talk about the 50s, the McCarthyism during the Cold War. They got the Red Scare and the loyalty oaths where they had a fear of the communism. So it was characterized by the anti-communists, you know, and the black fisting of individuals suspected with having communist ties. Now,
Yeah.
bring that to the future.
Man.
Critical thinking, like you said, conscious level is going to be the new racism. If you're a critical thinker, you're going to be harder to control, right? It's going to be the same thing as the Red Scare leading to loyalty oaths being required by various institutions back on, you know, the 40s and 50s. So what that's going to do, as we opened up with the acceptance factor, and tell me what you think about this, Pertis, is it's going to create the opportunity for self-censorship, which we already see in our communities. Facebook says, oh, that's false flag news or whatever, right? That's false, that's fake news. Then when you go and talk to someone in the community about the shit, oh, excuse me, I don't know if we can cuss on here. We go and talk to
You
the
can
community
slide one
about it.
in there once in a while, man.
I appreciate it. I'll be diligent for it. So when you go and talk to someone in the community, they're programmed from their internet activity that's fake news. So now they want to distance themselves from you in that conversation and be antisocial about it, thus creating the block and promoting self-censorship in our own community. And that's one of the values that people like you and your team there at AWDID and the studios actually needs the support of the community, because you're going to have the educational factor in your podcast to bring real information, real knowledge, and keep the truth alive, while everybody else is falling victim to censorship and fitting in, wanting to be accepted because they want to promote emotional attachments to beliefs without knowledge of the truth.
Man.
That's why the community need to rally around you guys.
Man, I definitely appreciate you saying that. Like, this is something that the owner has been very adamant about, is being able to get the other side, or let's just say the real story, out to people compared to the narrative that has been created for us through the multiple media sources. As you can probably see, I think we all see it. They have these internet clips of 12 to 20 news stations all repeating the same thing at the same speed, word for word. So creating a narrative and controlling how people respond. Let's just be real. We know it's possible. We know you can be trained. We know these things. Your brain is like a computer. You eat up that information and then you're going to put that back out into the world. We know this. But like you said, the acceptance is killing us, man. It's we've become just, I don't even know what, it's almost as if we've been trained like a dog to sit and stay. When things get hard, we sit and stay. And we don't attempt to fight back unless it's, you know how, what they say, you got them all in the corner, now we finna fight, but now your back is against the wall and your kids are suffering. So we wait to the pain is so great that everybody suffers around us because of our inaction. Man, I hate to stop this conversation because we're flowing so good, but we do need to pay some bills and run a couple of commercials. So we're going to take a short break. Again, we're here with Pasha Paro. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. The critical solutions expert, and I'm Pertis here with the AWDID, and we'll be right back again at Garrett at We Believe Studios here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee. To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Hey, have you heard about the accountable card? It's more than a card. The complete mobile banking service that's accountable to all of us. You'll get a no credit check debit card good anywhere Visa is accepted to make purchases, deposits, even get or transfer cash with an FDIC insured bank account managed from our smartphone app. There's even a pre-approved no interest line of credit if you need emergency cash. So why go to the bank when you can have ours in your pocket? Download our app today.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here at the AWDID and We Believe Digital Studios in Jackson, Mississippi on Livingston Road. If you have any media needs, give us a call, 1-800-492-5186. And again, on this special edition of the AWDID, we have Pasha Paro. You know, I'm a judoing of names, but hopefully the people can pronounce it as they hear you pronounce it. We were just in a deep conversation, and I just want to ask you again to give us more. You got me real interested in this this acceptance thing, because I wanted to ask you, I was thinking about during break, is it acceptance or is it mental slavery?
So that's a great question. And you actually hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it's kind of like a program, it's kind of like a guidance, right? So go back to when you mentioned the book burning. It is what we call the United States. Mm-hmm. They did the same thing in Germany in the 30s, right?
Yes, they did.
Suppression of the censorship of the information, suppression of dissenting voices, and that causes people to self-censor and avoid persecution, right? Mm-hmm. So they used to sit there. We had the Reconstruction period in the United States. Same thing. Couldn't read, because the danger was if people gathered around at the time, sipping on their Earth Blend coffee, having critical thoughts after reading this information, right? It would become too powerful, right? So then they had to come up with new ways. Now they trying to do things with the social credit score of being able to block your accountable card because you got too much knowledge and you're talking to people. So we gotta protect our investments like Earth Blend Coffee and accountable card and rally together to actually do something and create a sustainable community where we can detach from that and still be sustainable. What do you think about that?
I think I've had a lot of conversations with people about how to combat what is, what a lot of us see coming. And this is the thing where I try to not get too far left or right, because we tend to have so much misinformation that they keep us in fear. And fear is a very dangerous thing when you're trying to break free from that acceptance that we're talking about. And again, that acceptance, that mental slavery. When you're trying to break away from that, the last thing you need is to be scared or fearful. So I mindfully watch the information they give us, because I'm not sure if you remember, they tricky, sneaky, deaky now, and they good at what they do. You brought up the German book burnings, and I say that is what they told us. They didn't tell us about the American book burning. They made it look like Germany was doing it. And they also failed to tell us about the German scientists that they brought over to America during that same period of time in the early to late 40s. So let's look at the 40s to the 50s. Now we're burning books, and we're we're controlling mindsets. The civil rights movement started shortly after. We in segregating, now we cracking people out, and these things are flowing across the color lines. So the evil for me is not so much a color. It's what you were saying, the financial level of the people is what's under the slavery attack to me, the mental slavery attack, because who's less likely to educate themselves past high school? Who's less likely to go outside of their community and talk to other people? The poorer you are, the more likely you are to be power to a color. Now, when we get educated and have finances and can go outside that, we want to come back and help our people, but we start to see things way different when we're crossing over into different groups of people. You start to grow differently. So watching that conversation go from a only me, my people to, wait a minute, that's not working. How about we work for God's people, good people, whether you call it a good orderly direction or a creator. I think if we all take a real look at us, ourselves, then to do unto others as we would have them do unto you, if we can find those people who believe in that, just that alone, and regardless of color, we can kind of get away from this social credit score they're trying to implement. We can get away from this mental slavery they're trying to keep us in. We can get away from this suppression of history and information. And together we fight, We fight a better fight when we're unified, and they can't separate us with that bull they talk about. The Hispanics is taking our jobs, or it's the lazy dark-skinned people, or the suppression by the light-skinned folks. Once we get to the point where we know, look, them jokers made $6 billion, and if we know how to do math, everybody at that company could have made $100,000 a year, and they still would have made $1 billion. So I think we got to come together mentally, spiritually, and just common sensely and push back,
You make a great point there. Even with the financial hierarchy of a corporation, it's a mental acceptance factor that people actually are comfortable with going to work. The person that's off the high end going at least now gets millions of dollars salary, and the poor auto workers have to go on strike to get an increase. So it's another example in real life current event of the fear of consequences.
Right.
Because if they step up and express their opinions that are not in line with the mainstream of the government, whether that's locally in a corporation, on a national scale of activism, or in the music industry, they got that fear of consequences. And what they're able to do with that fear is control and limit resources. Those books they were burning were a resource, because innovation is the true wealth. If we can stop innovation in our community, we die in the streets, right? We're dead. Production dead, our ability to sustain is dead, and it's a block on resources. And they already implemented in our culture what I call a humble campaign. See, you get into etymology, for those that are into it, for those that are not, the word humble means not proud, which would be something great if proud was something bad or negative. But when you get into etymology of proud,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Noble, excellent, and splendid. So the humble campaign has ostracized and created outcasts all of our noble, excellent, splendid nouns in our community, which is our people, persons, places, and things, right? So all of our noble, excellent, splendid persons, places, and things are now gone, and we're sitting here saying why we ain't got nothing. It was the effect and success.
What we doing? Can we get it back? Are we back? All right. We got a little taking place.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, sir? All right, look like we good. Look like it's kicking back in. So we're gonna act like it's working good and let it go and do what it do. If you can hear me, I do want to say you really hit something right there. That social acceptance, and I try. I ain't saying I'm the best at it, but I do try to utilize our approach differently when I think about how can we push back against this corruption and this directed mental slavery. I try to think about it a little different. And you brought a real good point to the table about they will, try to take our finances from us, suppress our finances, suppress us, whether it be raising gas, raising food prices. You're still hurting those people who don't have, and you're forcing them to submit to your will, basically. And I like to look at that as the separation of family when we used to have grandmama, granddaddy, uncles and aunts and all these cousins around. Remember, we were talking about before the 80s and the crack. We start pushing each other away with addiction and chemical dependency and all these single, this what do you call it, the movements to divide the families, whether it be he's a player or she's an independent woman. It wasn't a play on a particular race. It was a play on everybody. You look at Grease, the movie, they telling the light-skinned folks, hey, lady, you don't need a smart guy. You need a thug dude in the leather jacket. You don't want a nerd. Mm-hmm. And they telling her you need to dress a certain way to get his attention. And as the years progressed, so did the lack of morals. So we've already been directed and led in the wrong direction. What we have to do now is accept it, speak about it, and not let it continue just because of you, like you said, the acceptance of the fear to say something to somebody when they're wrong. You scared to do the right thing, but you seem to be so easily persuaded to do wrong. So right. It's going to take conversations like this, reaching out. Like, again, we appreciate it here that you reached out, because this is something we need to do more of in supporting each other when we see something positive taking place. So I hope you will join us again, after today's show, and we can continue this conversation because I'm really enjoying it.
It's always the perfect day, Pertis. Thank you for being in a position to accept and see the value. That takes certain prerequisites that you have to take credit for having you and your organization down there in Jackson, Mississippi, right?
Many thanks, sir.
All right. So when you talk about the current situation, what we're doing is we're complaining and we're venting, which is the same thing. It's an insanity practice unless we incorporate action.
Yes.
Complaining and venting is healthy, but we got to take action. So when we look at the Jim Crow era, right? Southern United States saw the implementation of discriminatory laws that enforced what they describe as racial segregation and restricted rights of African Americans, quote, black individuals, right? Look at this. They face severe limitations on accessing various resources, including education, employment opportunities, housing, and public service.
Right.
Consciousness is the new racism. Now look at the Japanese internment during World War II. Right? The result was in them the loss of homes, businesses, educational opportunities, limiting their access to resources based on their ethnicity.
Right.
The government is doing this a lot. The question is, in this continuation of social in the United States jurisdiction, is this a return to feudal society classes in America, where fragmented social structures, people were going to be wary of association, with other classes to avoid repercussions on their own status? Is that where we going? Are we going to allow that to happen again? Are we going back to Jim Crow digitally?
Well, what I'll say is, remember when we discussed the planting of seeds from those unburned books, or I'll say newly typed books, the future that has yet to happen. I'll say, let's look at the past and the seeds they planted. For one, remember what they did to the like you just mentioned, internment camps for the Asians during World War II. It reminds me of this is finna get funny. This reminds me of a Jewish poem, They Came for Me. I'm not sure if you're familiar. It basically talks about when they came for the Asians, I didn't say anything, they not coming for me. When they came for the blacks, I didn't say anything, they not coming for me. When they came for the Christians, I ain't say nothing, they ain't coming for me. But when they came for me, there was nobody else to fight for me. You know, I didn't say anything. There was nobody there to say anything. So it's like we're accepting one group get punished. So it's like that test. We're going to test you guys with the Hispanics. See what y'all do. Since we didn't do anything, well, let's remove history from Florida. What they gonna do? They complain for a minute. 2-3 weeks later, we ain't talking about Florida no more. That's not even a topic of discussion over what happened with Will and Jada. We didn't forget all about the fight in Florida. Now it's Will and Jada out there. So acceptance, distractions, we like a damn goldfish. And our length of, I think a goldfish remembers better than we do here in America right now. As far as length of time, holding a thought in your head, that's why we can't fight nowhere, man. I'm almost thinking that the celebrities, and not just the celebrities, our inability to address the effects of alcohol and drugs in our community, how they limit our willingness to fight back, and I think that's something that we gotta start looking at. Is how did they take the land from the natives? They told you, drunk chiefs give away everything. So, yeah.
I think you got a great scapegoat. Right? With that, it's the low-hanging fruit when we talk about addiction.
Yeah.
All right. You know what people are most addicted to in what we call the modern society, whether it's the United States or
pleasure.
True. You know what are the great sources of it? The fiat currency. Boom. Biggest addiction there is. Bigger than alcohol, bigger than drugs. It actually what drives those industries.
Yeah.
Right? So look at this. You can't truly have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in a currency-based environment. Because the currency is fiat manipulated, which controls the access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
You got a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we value the showcasing how this is being done systematically for all people, all shapes, all walks, globally throughout time, it should build unity for the investment in your platform so that we can keep the channels for diverse voices and perspectives alive in the community.
And I think that's a valid, not more than just a valid point. It's extremely targeted, positive point because I'll say, as much as I would like to think that we can achieve our goals without the let's just say without the need for great wealth. Currently, and I'll speak on it about currently our environment has been poisoned mentally so much that Jesus would need $3 billion to get your attention. A broke carpenter couldn't tell you shh in this world. So when I'm looking at the ability of people to actually take good advice and heed it for the betterment of society, is as if we're poisoned by that love of money so deeply that, like I said, a carpenter couldn't build you a spiritual foundation in this day and age for nothing. That pride behind having and looking down on people who don't have, the need for the pats on the back from the narcissist environment we've created with all this social media, please love me, like me. You know, my thing is, I like things that are inspiring and motivation to us. I want to see that more in my feed. Us doing stupid stuff, we need a thumbs down button. We need some more angry faces in more places. And we need to speak up when we see those things that need to make a change. Our children need that. So, you know, it takes people like you to call people like me so that we can start having these discussions, so that we can start planting those seeds of change. And maybe somebody will say, you know what? Maybe if this is what we call rich and famous, this is what we call rich and successful, then it's fundamentally something wrong with us to see the world in the condition it's in and strive to be like that. You know, it's hard for me to understand why we want to be like that if the world looks like this, you know.
The artist deduction, big guy. I appreciate that segue. Pertis, you bring up a great point, and I think the response that should come for that is our focus on accountability. So often we blame the algorithm for what's on our feeds on Facebook and Instagram. And the algorithm is just a mirror of our own choices. And once we, as a community, change our destination, it makes it easier to overcome all obstacles for the new destination and click the right button to create the right feeds, reaching our communities to reflect our new agreed destination of what we should be and look like. And that's why we need to, you know, I talk about this all the time on my knowledge channel, YNet7 on YouTube. And this is why they need to invest in your platform there. Like we throw money at so many different things that means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Why not invest in your platform heavily? Because it's going to produce community engagement, right?
Yeah.
It's going to give that community-specific issue a chance, encouraging engagement and dialogue that's localized to what you need. But yeah, the carpenter wouldn't have gotten the spotlight because he would have needed $40,000 in the 1800s to $1 million in purchasing power today to create an ad campaign or else there would be nobody, right? So
Right.
we gotta invest in what we want. We gotta step up and do it. We gotta put the checks in your hands so y'all can stay alive and exploding. Not that you need it right now to survive. Why do we wait for it to become a survival issue? We need to give y'all a bank, right? So you have a reserve so that when the time gets rough and the censorship hit, you have a resource to pull from to survive when they start trying to take the accountable cards from us with the stored savings. You know what I mean? We gotta do this now.
Definitely understand. And I think that that's one of the things where, Pasha, we have to think more unified. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm trying to not make everything racial focused, because I think there are some or a focus that makes it look like we don't like people who have a mass amount of money. I think the people we see on television are a small percentage of the actual people that represent a particular class, whether it be low, middle, or upper. We seeing the same people on TV all the time. It's very, very little variation. So I'll say putting the challenge out there to the people who do have that blessing of great financial wealth, that there are people out here who have ideas. There are people out here who are fighting for the communities every day. If the government has something in place to say that you can't be a good person, you can't donate to these good causes and help these people, then that's when we need somebody to step up and take a challenge. Fight back. Damn it. Excuse me. Don't be soft. Get a group of good together and let's push back, because for me, I have family members in the military. I have family members that are in law enforcement. I seriously don't believe that they would attack good people trying to fight for them and for their families. I think that's one of the illusions, again, where we've come into the acceptance, that fear, where we don't know if we watching a staged march and the police are attacking them. We don't know if that's happening with a green screen in Hollywood or if it's real. We don't know if these people are really being murdered by the police or is it television happening. We really are feeding off of the feeds from the celebrities, the news, and all these other avenues that are built to deceive us, And let's discuss deception to the core when it comes to. I'm watching a YouTube video, man. A friend of mine sent me. It is Shawn Wayans pretending to be Chris Rock on stage, talking about people and dissing them, and I'm talking about going in on the celebrities, and all of a sudden they come on stage and attack him. And I sat there and watched that thing, man, and said, damn it, if that ain't Will Smith acting like he care, and for all the things that start happening right now, as much as it hurts the core of my soul being a fan of the man, I'm like, are you a part of the deception also? Because now my trust level is at zero, basically, when it comes to listening to our celebrity guided leadership that they chose for us. I'm very suspect to it, but I still think that we have some good people out there who are willing to fight the good fight. And I don't want to tell them we don't need your help. We do. Just like sending us money and supporting us, they need to support people like you, because good people like you support good people like us as we support good people like you instead of the bad people. That's when we make that change, like you said. We got to put our money where our desires are for the future and not for the pleasure of now, so to speak.
I appreciate those references, and you bring up some powerful observations, because what we need to look at this as education, right? Consider educational effect. We glorify sending, we wish the applications that our youth could go to Harvard, and we could pay $100,000 a year for our tuition. But why don't we invest that into a platform like this to create programs, to develop education content for our community so it can be sustainable and can be our own, and we can control the curriculum, right? Where is the originality? It goes back to that self-censorship control due to control of resources. The people that got the big checks, no offense, most of them, some of them are strong.
They're trying to mess up our feed again. Can we unlock?
They got, we back though.
All right, we back. There we go. Repeat that again.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of the people, not to everybody, but a lot of those in those $1 million paying positions, they're marginalized voices, right? Because they want to maintain access to those checks so they can have access to the resources that those checks get.
Right.
There's a control factor there. That's why we see, like I asked the question, where's the originality? Chris Rock, like you said, gets up, repeats the reenact the Will Smith scenario, right? But then when did you see that was a reenactment of a movie with a football player, a boxer or somebody, and his wife in the crowd, and the European looking dude on stage said something about his wife, and he walked up on stage and smacked him.
I saw that one also. Yeah. Saw that one too.
So the replay, they're doing the same game, right? The world is the stage. So we gotta ask ourselves, of all things, why did government make TV mandatory in households?
Well, look at the price of it first off. Let's look at the level of technology that goes into a television, and it's so cheap that they. Dude, you on a whole nother subject? Like, we could have a whole conversation about television. Back when we were young, they called it an idiot box. They did. It was an idiot box, and the way that the government went against that was, hey, let's make these idiot boxes bigger and bigger and bigger, and we became bigger and bigger idiots. So it's not like they're forcing us to be stupid. Let's just be real. They're not forcing us to be stupid. They just have great advertising, and we're suckers. And unless we can address the fact that we suckers, we fall for that stupid stuff that they keep selling us. We fall for this bad, and we're listening to all this misdirection because we want to fit in with a group. We want to fit in with a conversation. We want to be on the team with the same people who talking about it. And I tell you, man, it was I can't remember exactly what year it was in high school, but I remember standing there listening to somebody give this speech, and he was just, he sounded very confident in what he was saying. But I'm listening, and I'm like, that's a whole lot of wrong. But the crowd was, yeah. And I'm sitting there like, no. It was at that moment that my shy Star Trek watching self decided that I need to work on my ability to speak up. I need to work on my ability to cut somebody off when they're wrong and give them right. I took a conscious look at myself back then, and I'll never forget that, standing in that crowd and watching them something so damn wrong. And we have too much of that acceptance going on just because of a tone that a person uses, or they have on these clothes and this car that I'm showing you. I'm driving this car, my ceiling all red, the seats is red. You know it's a Bentley or something I'm in. You don't know if it's a damn rental car or what. But they doing that advertising, and we falling for it like the I'm gonna say ignorant because we lack education. But some of us are just being stupid because we know better, you know. And
you're right. Playing that game is a dangerous game. You know, let's audit the mental health of it and of the journey, right? So
yeah,
you got the emotional indicators being attracted. Look at it like this, right? The law of attraction is the quantum physics of it. So you got acceptance there in what you're trying to attract and being attracted to. So you got the normative social influence versus informatively socially influenced. You got to switch from being normative socially influenced to being informative. And if you want the proof, right? If you want to talk law of attraction and acceptance as a law, right? Then go back to the Roman maxims of the law. It's some Latin out there. I could Google it, but it's like Recipity, Bondros, Mundos, you know, some stuff like that.
Oh, that epitomus thingama that we can't really. We got to go and look it up to define what they talk about. But I know what you're talking about. The snake eating the tail of the snake, and I think is what it is.
Not even. It's like
not that one.
Mundos. But here's what it means. It means the world wishes to be deceived. Let them be. Modern renditions ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Now we talking my language, not the law, and
Right.
ignorance of it is run rampant, sir, because people forgot the law. They don't respect the law, and the preacher is telling them they no longer need to learn it. So our people, what they say, perish for a lack of knowledge, and then you refuse it when somebody try to give it to you. So our being forgotten in the protection of the Creator is because of our pushing away of the knowledge, our not wanting to hear it. The accountability you spoke of, we don't want that. We want to say it is what it is. I did the best I could, rather than say, you know what, I was young and I did that. Now that I look back on it, that was wrong. That was a bad mistake. I wouldn't teach that to my kids, nor would I do it again. And that's the accountability of one's actions that make you correct, self-correct, and be respected by your kids in the future when you lead them in the right direction. Man, as much as I would like to talk to you all day, dude, we are fighting the time clock, and it has gotten away. We didn't even take another commercial. But I want to invite you back right here now, man, while we live. I'm enjoying this conversation. I'd like to have some more people come in. This has been great for me, dude. I think we should take a small break, come back with a good closing, and set up a date for another conversation, man. I think this is something we need to continue, and we will cross over into that journey in the mental health part of it, because I think you got a lot for the people to hear. You have a lot of information. I'm enjoying recapping and going over with somebody else. We on that page together, dude. So let's definitely stay in touch. Let's do this again, and let's expand not just us, but let's expand what you're doing over there too in your platform, and let's see if we can find a way to partner indefinitely. Again, this is Pertis with the Audit. We have our Pasha Payroll. You know I'm tearing that name up, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back out and close this thing down in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Are you dreaming? Becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace. And there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695, or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Welcome back here to We Believe Digital Studios. I am Pertis Williams. I'm not actually the host today. I'm just kind of introducing the host because we're at my location using it. But 1-800-492-5186 if you want to reach out to We Believe Digital Studios. You need any podcasts, commercials, anything digital, we will definitely be glad to help you out. Today, Pasha Payroll is with us, and back to you, sir. Like I said, we're really on that time. That time is beating us up with this great conversation, as it always does. Anytime you're doing something good, the time flies. So I'm gonna let you close it out for us. We got about 3 minutes left. I'm gonna let you close it out. Give the people what you want them to hear. Platform is yours, sir.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. Pasha Payroll, critical solutions expert. I hope you gathered that the nature of this conversation was about community empowerment. I need you to believe, and join we believe, support them and other outfits like them. The voices out there you have need to be heard too. Connect with them, let them broadcast your voice, because you represent at least 60,000 people yourself. They need representation. Grow, all right? Get with Brenda, because what we need to do together is create an entrepreneurs academy in our community to facilitate a community business plan to promote the change, because once we agree on the destination per Simon Sinek, it makes it easier to overcome all obstacles. So I want us to decide what we want our world to be, and I want you to help me work with Pertis and We Believe so that we can arrive there at what we define as the promised land. Thank you.
And let the people know where they can get in touch with you, where your Facebook, YouTube, all that information, so they can also go and check out some of your videos and some of the information you already have available.
Appreciate that. The Knowledge channel on YouTube is the letter Y, space, NET, space, the number 7, Y, net 7. Everything else, you can just put Pasha Pyro, as you see here on the screen, into Google. Everything else pops up on the Knowledge panel.
All righty. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate you guys for joining us today here at the AWDID Special Edition, Pasha Payroll. We are definitely not going to be strangers here. Again, please support what he's doing as you support what we're doing. And we are definitely grateful for everyone who watch today. Like and share on both pages, both platforms. Like and share good information. It can't be more important than right now for us to start changing that narrative from what we know we need to heal from to what we need to be doing in a positive manner for these children and their future. Again, Pasha, thank you again, man, for the invite. Thank you for coming on. I'll be giving you a call shortly so we can set up our next cast. So thank you again for joining We Believe Digital. Pasha, you want to say bye?
Always a perfect thing.
All right, sir.
Thank you for tuning.
No doubt. Y'all have a great start to your weekend. We'll see you next time.